So if you're paying for daycare, preschool, after-school care, or care for an elderly parent, OBBBA just increased the tax credit that helps cover those costs. And for families that are juggling childcare expenses, this could mean hundreds and more back in your pocket. Now, this is day 16 of me breaking down the One Big Beautiful Bill Act over the next 30 days. So let's talk about childcare costs because they're crushing American families. And trust, I can relate. I got 2 kids, okay? Now, according to the documents, American families spend up to $15,600 on daycare each year for just one child. And 70% of parents experience difficulty paying for childcare. The Child Independent Care Credit helps offset these costs, right? But until now, it hasn't kept up with reality for real, okay? So here's what's changing. So before OBBBA, the maximum federal Child Independent Care Credit was $1,050 for one qualifying child or dependent, and then $2,100 for 2 or more. But this is a non-refundable tax credit, meaning it can reduce your tax bill to 0, but it won't give you any refund beyond that, okay? Now, after OBBBA, starting in 2026, the maximum credit increases to $1,500 for one qualifying child or dependent, which is a 43% increase, and then $3,000 for 2 or more, which is again a 43% increase. So number one is this covers care for children under the age of 13. So we're talking daycare, preschool, after-school programs, and summer day camp, and then disabled dependents of any age who cannot care for themselves. And then also elderly parents or relatives who are your dependents and cannot care for themselves, okay? And then number 2 is both parents must be working, looking for work, or full-time students to qualify, with some exceptions, okay? Number 3 is you can claim expenses up to $3,000 for one qualifying person and $6,000 for 2 or more, right? So the credit is a percentage of these expenses based on your income, which is 20 to 35% depending on your AGI. All right, so for number 4, let's do the math. So for example, let's just say you're a single parent, right, with one child in daycare, and daycare costs about $12,000 a year for qualifying expenses. That's $3,000, which is the max of your AGI of $50,000, right? The 2025 credit is up to $1,050, but the 2026 credit with OBBBA is up to $1,500. So that's an extra $450 in savings. So let's do another example. Let's say you're a married couple with 2 kids in daycare, right? Let's say daycare cost is $20,000 a year for qualifying expenses. That's the $6,000, that's the max. And then your AGI, let's say it's $80,000. For the 2025 credit would have been up to $2,100. Now the 2026 credit with OBBBA, it's up to $3,000, which is extra $900 in savings. Now, number 5 is this is part of OBBBA's broader family support provision. The document states that this helps families with the rising costs of childcare and builds on Trump tax cuts incentives for paid leave in childcare. Now, number 6 is this credit phases out for higher incomes, but most middle-class families will qualify